going on, everybody? Your boy Sin here, back for Anime Vote Season 2, Episode 2. For those unfamiliar, that is where I go back and I watch the animes that I grew up on to see if they still hold up to the test of time now. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it with... We're going back to 1988 on this one with Masamune Shiro's Dominion Tank Police. So, as I like to start off with is why it resonated with me so much back then. I think it just caught my eye, number one, the box art walking around the video store. But also, the idea and concept of tank police sounded very cool at the time. You know, instead of police cars, they run around with tanks, stopping criminals and bad guys. So, okay, that interested me back then. And also, there was, in the first episode, this striptease scene with two of the characters, Anipuna and Unipuna. And what can I say? I was young. It stuck with me all this time. It is what it is. Don't judge me. But now, let's get into actually what the first episode is about, just to give you an idea of what you'll be getting into if you decide to watch it for yourself. So, Tank Police takes place in the far future for the most part. The atmosphere it's dark, it is gritty, it is there's a like poison kind of cloud almost, I guess, from pollution and all that type of stuff where people have to go wear masks, you know, when they're outside, so just to breathe properly, or else they will die. But the beginning of it opens up with what sounds like to be the chief of police and the governor or mayor arguing about the effectiveness of the tank police. And, you know, they're having a very spirited debate, if you will. But they get past that, and we come into a opening sequence where our main villains are pulling off a robbery. They're going to rob a hospital. Reason why? Watch, you shall find out. But while they're attempting their robbery, we go to the headquarters to meet the tank police. And they're in a interrogation, if you will, in their garage. We can get into the interrogation later, but while they're being interrogated, Leona, who is our main character of this show, shows up, lets them know, hey, I got transferred from the motorcycle division, I'm here, hey. And of course, they sent us a girl, that type of thing. Remember, it is the 80s. But, you know, they're trying to let her know what the tank police is about. And in the process of doing that, the lieutenant takes her and his other young cadet out on patrol to kind of show her the ropes around the city. So they jump into his large tank, go on patrol, and he's giving her the ins and outs of the tank police and what it is they do and why they're so important, yada, yada, yada. And they get a call from SWAT asking for backup. And of course, the robbers of the hospital crash into them. Big car chase ensues. Well, car, tank chase. You get the idea. Point is, a chase ensues. There's property destruction, property damage. His tank is destroyed in the process. The bad guys get away. They feel the backlash of it. In the process of her trying to figure out where she fits in with the tank police, with all these manly men, you know, and such, the guys decide to do her a solid. Let's take the parts from the lieutenant's tank and let's make her a smaller one that she can handle, that she can manage a lot better. So they put it together. She loves it. She names it Bonaparte. And then, honestly, that's pretty much it. Where she goes around the city with her small little mobile tank, helping the tank police fight crime throughout the city. And that's it. So, with that right there, do you take the time out of your busy schedule to give this one a viewing? What do y'all think? Yes? No, maybe. The answer is no. Just a very stern no. And let's just start at the top with the intro. Now, one thing we all love about our animes is our intro. We're very passionate about them, from the visuals to the music. It helps with the entire anime experience. Heck, it is part of the entire anime experience. But the question is, does this one still slap after all these years? In a weird, earworm you kind of way, it does, even though it's bad and cheesy, like Marvel's Capcom 2 character selection screen cheesy, where it's, you know, a funky little 80s beat. It loops the same things over again. Matter of fact, just let you run it.
Tank police, feel the power that we got.
So for that, I'm gonna say, yeah, like you will find yourself in the kitchen cooking dinner and it being stuck in your head and you saying it and like, I can't get it out of my head. It definitely does feel wrong. So with that being said, let's move on to our characters. So the question we're asking is, do these characters still hold up after all this time? And to tell you the truth, no, there's not one real memorable character in the show, maybe besides Leona. And that's just how over the top and annoying that she actually is and always screaming about her tank Bonaparte. Like, it's... No, nobody is... I didn't remember most of the characters in the show until I sat down and watched them. Oh yeah, I remember that guy. Other than that, it was out of sight, out of mind completely. Now, I will say, I did remember the two cat cyborg girls, Eddie Puna and Ani Puna, but that was because of the striptease scene. I explained it to her. You get it. No need to, go back down that rabbit hole, but you get it. So, let's move on to the genre itself. And does that even still hold up? Look, this would be considered an action-adventure anime. But going back and watching it after all this time, it's just okay when it comes to that department. Now, granted, back then in the early 90s, late 80s, I can see it being considered exciting and fun and all that kind of stuff. But for real, it's exactly what you think you're going to get for a show called Tank Police. Which leads me to my closeout and final question. Why is there even a Tank Police division? Look, overall, no. This does not stand up to the test of time. And I'm still racking my brain around why do they even feel the need to have a Tank Police division? Yes, I hear the arguments when the first episode is starting, crime rate's going down this percent, whatever. But no, when I am watching it, every single character should have been fired by the end of the first episode in this show from their interrogation tactics. They are sitting around there hanging somebody in the garage while he's standing on what seems to be the weakest, well, tiptoeing, I would say, while he's hanging on the weakest piece of metal with a grenade, a live grenade, in fact, in his mouth while they are taking golf swings with other live grenades at him to get him to spill the beans. How do you think that played out? I'm just saying. That's just one instance. But then, even when they're doing random police patrols around the city, the amount of property damage that they cause has to be astronomical. Not to mention all the damage they did in their police chase. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. But I digress. Look, I do think there's room here for a remake from the ground up. Like, there are some working parts, I think, if you wanted to and took it back, broke it all the way down to the studs and wanted to do something with, sure. He could remake it into something great, or I think what I think could be a good idea is maybe roll it into one of his other properties, like Appleseed or Ghost in the Shell, something like that. Maybe even develop some type of shared universe where everything works together, and I think there's potential. I just think the execution of it was terrible. Now, I will say, there is a manga that starts before this one that leads into this. I believe it gives you more of the background of the criminals and I guess establishing of the Tank Police. And then there's one that comes after this. And for the people who really do enjoy it out there, there's one that comes later down the line, I think sometime in the early 90s, the new Dominion Tank Police that follows after that second manga, which I watched years later. But that's not what this one is about. It's about the original one that got me, into anime. But like I said, overall, no, I say pass it up. Don't worry about it. Unless you're just a fan of his works and want to go back and revisit some of his older stuff, sure. But if that's not the case, you can leave it on the shelf and don't even worry about it. So, that's it for the Dominion Tank Police. Y'all know what it is. I will see y'all next week with another anime. Deuces. What's going on, everybody? Did you enjoy what you saw? Of Of course you did. So if you want to help us out and support us, here's what you can do. On whatever platform you're currently streaming us on, just like, share, and subscribe. Then head over to patreon.com/loading snacks and become one of our patrons there.